gigih berkarya penuh cita-cita.
Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran,
Amalkan ilmu kita,
pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa.
sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan tunas mulia, gigih berkarya penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan tunas mulia, gigih berkarya penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Jayalah SV-IPB.
Mungkinkah di suatu masa depan dirimu akan merasa ingin kembali dan mengulang ke masa lalumu di saat kau memilih kan kemana langkahmu, sejati tujuanmu, ataukah dirimu yang sekarang dalam hasrat dan mimpi kau meniti hidup dan cinta. Kebahagiaan tak hanya tentang harta, tapi tentang dirimu, hasratmu dan mimpimu. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan lagu merenggut mimpi, maka takkan ada penyesalan yang menyelesaikan dada muda. Bukti lebih dari teori. Bukankah selalu kau yakini bersama kesulitanmu ada kemudahan yang pasti? Meski orang coba jadikanmu bimbang, namun kau lebih tahu keputusan milikmu. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan lagu merenggut mimpi, maka takkan ada penyesalan yang menyesatkan dada muda. Bukti lebih dari teori. Tanpa aksi, beranikan dirimu berlari di hasratmu. Takkan ada langkah yang kedua. buat tanpa langkah pertama yang kau paksa memulainya. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan ragu merenggut mimpi. Maka takkan ada penyesalan yang menyesatkan dadamu. Dan bukti lebih dari teori. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan ragu merenggut mimpi. Maka takkan ada penyesalan yang menyesatkan dadamu. Dan bukti lebih dari teori. Aksi lebih dari teori. Bukti lebih dari teori.
Hari-hari harus ku jalani bersama mimpi-mimpi tentang masa depan gemilang
yang ku ciptakan di kampus tercinta SV-IPB.
Sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan tunas mulia, gigih berkarya, penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa.
Hari-hari harus ku jalani bersama mimpi-mimpi tentang masa depan gemilang
yang ku ciptakan di kampus tercinta SV-IPB. Gigih berkarya, penuh cita-cita.
Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran,
Amalkan ilmu kita,
pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa.
Sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan tunas mulia, gigih berkarya, penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan kita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita. Pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Jayalah SV-IPB.
Bukan aku tak tertarik akan kata rayuanmu.
Saat matamu melirik, aku jadi suka padamu.
Tiap kali kau bermanja, gemetar rasa di dada.
Ingin ku bisikan cinta, tapi hati ini malu jadinya. Engkau masih anak sekolah, satu SMA. Belum tepat waktu untuk begitu begini. Anak sekolah datang kembali, 2 atau 3 tahun lagi.
Bukan aku tak tertarik akan kata rayuanmu.
Saat matamu melirik, aku jadi suka padamu.
Tiap kali kau bermanja, bergetar rasa di dada.
Ingin ku bisikan cinta, tapi hati ini malu jadinya. Engkau masih anak sekolah, satu SMA. Belum tepat waktu untuk begitu begini. Anak sekolah datang kembali, 2 atau 3 tahun.
Tak kuasa aku dibuatnya jatuh cinta, tapi nyatanya ku tak bisa berkata-kata. Pikir cara lanjut jenjang kuliah dengannya. IPB University jawabannya. Oh God, let me have a chance to be with her. No matter how hard we will fight together. And darling, when you wash away, just remember we can build our dreams together for the rest of our life.
Ku bisikan cinta, tapi hati ini malu jadinya.
Engkau masih anak sekolah, satu SMA. Belum tepat waktu untuk begitu begini. Anak sekolah datang kembali, 2 atau 3 tahun lagi. Engkau masih anak sekolah, satu SMA.
Jangan terlalu, jangan berlebihan. Sini aja. Jangan berlebihan. Ketawa. Ganti gaya lagi.
Mungkinkah di suatu masa depan dirimu akan merasa ingin kembali dan mengulang ke masa lalumu di saat kau memilih kan kemana langkahmu, sejati tujuanmu, ataukah dirimu yang sekarang di dalam hasad dan mimpi kau meniti hidup dan cinta. Kebahagiaan tak hanya tentang harta, tapi tentang dirimu, hasratmu dan mimpimu. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan lagu merenggut mimpi. Maka takkan ada penyesalannya, menyelesaikan ada mudah. Bukti lebih dari teori. Bukankah selalu kau yakini bersama kesulitanmu ada kemudahan yang pasti. Meski orang coba jadikanmu bimbang, namun kau lebih tahu keputusan milikmu. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan lagu merenggut mimpi. Maka takkan ada penyesalan yang menyesatkan dada muda. Bukti lebih dari teori. Hayal tanpa aksi, beranikan dirimu berlari di hasratmu. Takkan ada langkah yang kedua tanpa langkah pertama yang kau paksa memulainya. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan lagu merenggut mimpi. Maka takkan ada penyesalan yang menyesatkan dada muda. Bukti lebih dari teori. Terus jalani bagai mentari yang menyinari bumi. Jangan berhenti, jangan biarkan lagu merenggut mimpi. Maka takkan ada penyesalan yang menyesatkan dengan mudah. Bukti lebih dari teori. Aksi lebih dari teori. Bukti lebih dari teori.
hari harus ku jalani bersama mimpi-mimpi tentang masa depan gemilang
yang ku ciptakan di kampus SV-IPB. Sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan tunas mulia, gigi berkarya, penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa.
Hari-hari harus ku jalani bersama mimpi-mimpi tentang masa depan gemilang
yang ku ciptakan di kampus tercinta SV-IPB. Gigi berkarya, penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan tunas mulia, gigi berkarya, penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Sekolah vokasi terdepan, tumbuhkan tunas mulia, gigi berkarya, penuh cita-cita. Kuatkan jiwa dan pikiran, amalkan ilmu kita, pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Pengabdian untuk kemajuan bangsa. Jayalah SV.
Mr. Haryu, you can start.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning and good afternoon to all of the participants. I would like to welcome to the fourth Smart Agro Industry 4.0 in the tropical countries innovation agro-maritime on technology sociopreneurship. My name is Heridianto Vibowo, and I'll be responsible for hosting this webinar held by College of Vocational Studies, IPB University. First of all, I would like to welcome to all of the participants and lecturer from College of Vocational Studies, IPB University, the State University of Jakarta, Sulaiman Demirel University of Kazakhstan, Ungku Omar Polytechnic of Malaysia, Sungai Petani Community College of Malaysia, Tarlac Agricultural University of Philippines, and Mariano Marcos State University of Philippines. I would like also to welcome to Dean of College of Vocational Studies, IPB University, Dr. Aceng Hidayat, and Director of International Education, IPB University, Mrs. Puji Mudiana. Before we start our speaker session, we will have welcoming speech by Dean of College of Vocational Studies, IPB University, Dr. Aceng Hidayat. To Dr. Aceng Hidayat, you may deliver your welcoming speech.
Okay, thank you very much. Saya Heridianto. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I'm Dr. Aceng Hidayat, Dean of School of Vocational Study, IPB University. Would like to welcome to the participant to the international webinar organized by the College of Vocational Study. This is part of the summer course which has opened in on last Monday, and I'm sorry for not present or not being present at the opening ceremony because of some activities. This webinar is organized by SV-IPB in collaboration with the International Academics Director of IPB University, and in this occasion, I would like to express my gratitude to
Recording in progress.
Dr. Puji Mudiana, Director of International Education IPB University, and then Pak Dr. Bagus and Dr. Rowan Oktareza, the President of SPPB, and then the Head of Study Program in College of Vocational Study. The speaker, Dr. Louis Witteveen, Justius Satrio PhD, Dr. Nulia Castillo Montoya, and Matthias Spainerdi. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain briefly about the concept of agro-maritime 4.0. As we know that since 2019, IPB University has developed and established the concept of agro-maritime 4.0. Why do we develop this concept? Because we are facing some problems. What kinds of problems? I would like to introduce some of the. First, we are now in reality facing the problems of poverty, and then low productivity in food and energy, environmental degradation, and natural resource depletion, and so on. And we hope that with the integration between land-based agriculture and ocean or sea, we can have a new concept and innovation to overcome that problem, integrated with the smart technology. As we know that last week we just established new study programs at IPB University. It is smart agriculture. I hope that this smart agriculture can be part of the solutions for that kind of problem. We hope that the speaker, the fourth speaker, can share with us their experience in developing innovation which are relevant that can can be solutions for that problem. We hope that we can at IPB University, especially in a vocational studies program, can develop innovation which can increase, our welfare and poverty reduction, and has overcome the environmental problems and natural resource depletion. I hope that speakers can share about that. I think that is all my speech, and thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Aceng, for your opening speech. And the next will be an opening speech that will be delivered by Director of International Education of IPB University, Mrs. Puji Mudiana. So, Mrs. Pujiana, you may proceed with the speech.
Thank you very much, Pak. Okay. Thank you, Pak Aceng, for your brief speech to start this event. Ladies and gentlemen, dear Dr. Aceng Hidayat, the Dean of the College of Vocational Studies, IPB University, Dr. Bagus Priyo Purwanto, and Dr. Wawan Oktariza, Vice Deans, College of Vocational Studies of IPB University, Dr. Wiyoto, Chairman of the Senate of the Vocational Studies of IPB, the distinguished speaker, Dr. Luz Vitevans. Good morning, Dr. Luz, and then from Wageningen University, and Dr. Justinus Satrio. I think it's early in the morning there in Villanova University. And then Dr. Nulea Castillo Montoya, Head of R&D Smoothie at Frescon Technology. Mateus Pinati, Modern Dairy Farmer. Mateus, thank you for staying with us. It's really early in the morning there in Brazil,
okay.
Right?
No problem.
And then for sure, the distinguished organizing committee of summer course of School of College of Vocational Studies of IPB University, our university partners, College Community Sungai Petani, Mariano Marcos State University, Polytechnic Ungku Umar, Tarlac Agricultural University, Sulaiman Demirel University, and student delegates of summer course programs around the world. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon for those who are in Indonesia and the Southeast Asian region, and good morning to all of you who are in the other part of this globe. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you to the second webinar series, Agro-Maritime and Innovation on Socio-Technopreneurship, which is held by the College of Vocational Studies and integrated with summer course program, the fourth Smart Agro-Industry 4.0 in the tropical countries, with the theme of innovation, agro-maritime on technopreneurship. Welcome to IPB University. COVID pandemic that just hit us for a solid 2 years changed so many aspects of our lives. The global response to COVID is very diverse, and one of them is toward foods, where countries in all over the world holding their food stock for export. During this pandemic, economic growth came from agro-maritime-based sector. Indonesia have proven it, and agro-maritime is the leader in the economic sector, especially in Indonesia. Agro-maritime 4.0 is carried out to answer the challenge of this new normal life. There are three underlying factors in formulating the new normal economy. The three are climate change, industrial revolution 4.0, and the COVID-19 pandemic. Distinguished attendees, One important component in agro-maritime development is the development of sustainable business model with ICT integration. In this era of rapid technological disruption, the role of ICT in building price stability and supply and demand transparency is very significant and has a broad impact because ICT can provide relevant and timely information on agro-maritime activities. Innovation as a driving force for technopreneurship must be the basis of for the economic going forward. This is in line with the result of the correlation test, which shows that the Global Innovation Index has a positive correlation with the gross domestic product, meaning that the higher index achieved by a country, the higher of the annual GDP per capita will be. Moreover, in facing this disruption, all countries in the world are experiencing uncertainty. That way, one of the important keys is adapting to the normal, to this new normal in the speed of innovation to drive sociopreneurship. For the realization of technopreneurship, IPB has built a Science Technopark or STP. Some of you may have visited STP, which among other things has a role in developing technology and R&D to the commercialization of innovations. This STP will work closely with the industry for business development and licensing. It has also developed a retail outlet in partnership with farmers. We call it Serambi Botani. So the name of the shops that we manage as a showcase for our innovation product are Serambi Botani. Now we have 15 outlets in all over Indonesia, plus one in the Terminal 3 of Soekarno-Hatta Airport. So when you arrive in Jakarta later, you will be greeted by our showcase of Serambi Botani. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to apply agro-maritime concept, which was drafted by IPB in 2018. It requires collaboration between various stakeholders who play a role in agro-maritime sector, including government, university, and also private sectors. So to conclude my remark, I encourage you all to use this opportunity to establish a common understanding of the issue at hand, to initiate activities in line with an effective strategy for the implementation of higher vocational education. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the Dean of Vocational School of IPB University and the organizing committee for their hard work so this event can be successful. For the students who join this webinar and later the summer course, I just want to let you know that please take the most benefit out of it. Make friends, because your today's friends is your future professional network. And when I talk about future, it's just like a blink of your eyes. It's really close. So please make friends, exchange your idea during the summer course that you will participate. I think that's all from me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, I officially open the second webinar series in 2023, Agro-Maritime Innovation on Socio-Technopreneurship. Thank you for your kind attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Mrs. Puji Mudiana, for the warm remarks. Okay, for our next session, we will have photo session that will be assisted by Mr. Dery Dardanella. To Mr. Dery, can you please help us?
Okay, thank you, Pak Heryu. Okay, all participants, I have 7 slides here. So please turn your camera and show your best smile. Okay, I will count in 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, second slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, third slide. Oh, there's no participant to open the camera. I think that's enough, Pak Heryu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Derry. Okay. Next, we move on to the main session. Right now we have three amazing speakers that will present their presentation. Actually, there are four. Good morning to Professor Loes Witteveen from Van Larenstein University of Applied Sciences. And then we have Matthias Spinardi. Good morning. From Modern Dairy Farm.
Good morning.
And then we will have Dr. Noelia Castillejo Montoya from Head of R&D Smoothie at Frescon Technology. Hello, Dr. Noelia. And then later that will be joining us, there's Justinus Asatrio from Villanova University. But before that, I would like to invite our lovely moderator, Mrs. Gemma Parasti Mindara. Good afternoon, Mrs. Gemma.
Good afternoon, Mr. Heryu.
I will read your brief CV first. She is Gemma Parasti Mindara, graduated from Physics Study Program for her bachelor degree and Master of Computer Science from University of Indonesia. Now she is the head of Software Engineering Technology Study Program, College of Vocational Studies, IPB University, and also a member of Indonesian Women in Cybersecurity. Okay, without further ado, Mrs. Gemma, you may proceed with the main session.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Heryu. So I will continue this session ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, good day to you all, and to Dr. Aceng Hidayat, Dean of College of Vocational Studies at IPB University, to Dr. Wawan Oktariza, to Dr. Bagus Purwanto as Vice Dean of College of Vocational Studies at IPB University, and to Mrs. Puji Mudiana, she's Director of International Education at IPB University. And to distinguished speaker, lecturers, students, guests, and ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all to you. May I have your attention, please? We are going to start the presentation. May all participants please keep their microphone mute and turn on their camera during this session. Your cooperation will be highly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you very much for attending this special event of the 4th Smart Agro Industry 4.0 in the tropical countries, Agro Maritime Innovation on the Techno-Sociopreneur, hosted by College of Vocational Studies, IPB University. I would like to introduce myself again. My name is Gemma Parasti Mindara. You can call me Gemma as a moderator for today for this event. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please may I invite the first presenter to present the presentation. The first speaker is come from Professor Dr. Loes Witteveen from Van Larenstein University of Applied Science. As you can see in the screen, there's experience from her. She's in the Van Larenstein University of Applied Science. She's the research group communication, participation, and social ecological learning from 2018 until now. QPA Kerala's Course 2.0 from 2019 until now. Digital Farmer Field School from 2018 until now, ethnography, documentary, The Whaler's House, the story of cultural heritage of Texel from 2020 until now, visual problem appraisal, PPAR, reach taken. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. From 2017 and Citarang Voice 2018. Please welcome to Professor Dr. Luz Wittevan. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you for your nice introduction, and good to know there are sufficient women in cybersecurity. I won't address that aspect today, but definitely important. And I also think it was nice how your Director of International Education, I mean, we're all grateful, I think, how fast we developed in Corona times, cooperation and Zoom meetings like this, because it's very early in Brazil, I know. Here we start today and you are in the afternoon, but it's nice how collegial collaboration can move on nowadays. But yes, that comes with issues of cybersecurity and aspects of portrayal, privacy, and representation. But you mentioned already part of my work, and that's how I built up this PowerPoint, and I will share my screen if that is okay. Let me check. Yeah, I can share the screen, isn't it?
Okay, the committee, please, to check. Can Miss Luz can share screen? Okay. Here you go. I can see your screen, Miss Luz.
Yeah. So I cannot I don't have a look anymore at the chat group. So please, if there are any questions or issues, please remark it. The title of today's presentation is ICT Design and Development for Rural Learning, Communication and Advisory Services. So, well, my background is there. I'm heading the research group Communication, Participation and Social Ecological Learning at Van Halen University of Applied Sciences. And I also joined the research group Knowledge, Technology and Innovation at Wageningen University. And I think most important is you all know that we are colleagues with BOGO, isn't it? All in the same field. For today, I'd like to give you a short introduction and the background to this presentation, look at 3 case studies and come to a conclusion. The background of all this is, of course, that we do have large sustainability challenges. And we have to communicate this complexity. I mean, it's not only that we have to look at profitability of farming for farmers involved or for national economies, but at the same time, we have to focus at long-term challenges in the field of sustainability, considering climate change, biodiversity losses, etc. So we have to look at the profits still in the entire economy of rural resources, but also we have to deal with the urgency of challenges, and we have to consider the interest of the future generation, both youth as generations not yet born. We are now smart enough to realize that what we are doing today has an impact on their future as well. So it's not only about the use of ICTs, it's not only about learning and communication, but it's also where we are talking about learning, so where do we look at? And this is based also on an article, ICTs for Learning in the Field of Rural Communication. You see here the reference, which gives a kind of overview. If we talk about ICTs in rural communication, how do we perceive this, the conceptualization of learning in this field? And it's very easy, and I think in the end most of you will be conversant with this, that if we look at the development in the field of agriculture extension, advisory services and rural communication, it has always been about communication and learning. Yeah? So questioning how do people learn and how can we best cater to the different learning styles and needs of people. Not all people do have the same ways of learning, don't have the same interests, and they have different positions. Approaches all over the world, whether the naming has been the same, at least they have been similar. The training and visit approach for many years was the idea that in agriculture advisory services, from the research system, there was a regular output of extension messages. Yeah? And with a wide extension system, the agriculture extension officers or advisors, they went to farms, and it was quite a top-down system and also a very costly system. And it turned out that the messages were not always suitable to the people who had to receive them. So this comes with a dominant theory of the adoption and diffusion system, which is, I mean, it's not relevant, not that it's not relevant anymore, but it's not the most dominant theory to understand what is happening. Nowadays, also in Indonesia, farmer field schools and other participatory advisory approaches are more dominant and departing from the idea that farmers themselves have analytical capacity and that farmers, that we have male and female farmers, younger and older farmers. So we consider the diversity better of different farmers. It's different whether you are raising animals or whether you're a crop farmer, and very often combined farmers, or whether you have smaller or larger farmers. So how to connect with farmers and with rural farmer groups to find the very best solutions. With all this, we changed the view on learning. So whether initially we thought it's transfer of knowledge, just telling people what is best, yeah, we currently look more at the interaction and co-creation of knowledge. Also because we place it in a wider system view. And so, well, learning and knowledge is always, has an aspect of being relevant, of being attractive in a social context. With all this, we are looking more at ICTs, yeah, because we question how can we make this learning relevant and interesting. The problem is that somehow it looked as if it was new. No, it's not new. Yeah, ICT has always been there, only it now seems more apparent as we are talking about tablets, about phones, about computers, but also way back early in my career, we were also using ICTs as such. Yeah, but yeah, it's very smart to pay attention to it. How do we shape these learning processes, and what roles and options we have for ICTs? Anyway, in this major study on learning and ICTs for rural communication, first of all, a major conclusion was learning itself is change. Yeah, and developing communication is a learning process itself. So it's about communicative interaction, where actions, relations, and knowledge come together in an innovation process to have impact. A second one was the added value of the groups, and that is more prevalent also in farmer field school, where the extension officer or the communication officer, whatever we call it, they link up with farmer groups, no longer with individuals, as was more in the focus in the training and visit approach. And a third conclusion is the centrality of experiences and reflexivity. If we just drop messages, you have to wait indeed if people adopt, yes or no. So quite dichotom, where if we consider the smartness of people themselves, then they will reflect about what's happening. They will come to a reconceptualization of issues. They will experiment and make their own conclusions. So the three cases I like to share with you today, because if we go to digital, solutions? Yeah, how are we dealing? What is the state of the art? And I'm sharing here with you 3 examples which we also are working with in Indonesia. First is visual problem appraisal, which is a learning environment using film. Then the issue of virtual serious games, with the example of the Peatland website, and digital farmer field school, which is a tablet-based interface for farmer groups and extension services. Visual problem appraisal. It's about using film narratives in complex multi-stakeholder situations. So rather than, if we talk about participation, that we always focus on live encounters, say, no, let's document, let's make good films, good film portraits, and bring them to the learning environment. So it is about producing VPA material, it's about using it, and it's about the very learning process. And there are diverse perspectives, because it is not, it seems easy, but the complexity is there. Also, I think you understood also from your moderator, somehow it's still a new field, and we still need to educate people to be good in the field. You know, it's not just filming; it's about filming in a context of the rural economy, and it's filming for learning situation and facilitating this learning. Now, if we look at a typical VPA set, oh, where is the other one? Picture has gone here, because you see here at the left, you see it all started years ago when we still had VHS videotapes. Then we converted to DVD, and since 5 years we have it all on digital platforms. Here in the Netherlands we use Vimeo, and that is because we are still struggling with aspects of access and privacy on YouTube. So that is something we haven't figured out completely. So in a VPA set, and here you see pictures from rural livelihoods in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. It's a series of stakeholder interviews, of documentaries, and it comes with facilitated guides or student workbook and power templates. In the upper right corner, you see an overview of films made in South India, in Kerala, about coastal zone management. We call this learning through mediated participation. If we want to confront our students in formal education or stakeholders in non-formal education, yeah, we want to bring overlooked stakeholders inside the classrooms. It's learning about various stakeholder positions. Many people, for example, if you look at Kerala, at the aspects of coastal zone management, not many people will have been on a boat to see how fishermen live, how fragile is their livelihood, and how they manage. But also people in higher positions are not always easy to gain access. I mean, they won't have time if you tell your students, well, have a talk with a minister or a director of an enterprise. So we try to bring in all these different people, creating a safe space for learning, so people can listen, can observe, can have that interview. And of course, they see also what people are doing. So they see the very practice of daily activities. We work for many years on this. It started with rice from Guyanas. So that's in the north coast of South America, on the issues of rice production, the value chain of rice production. And it moved to India. Then we worked in Sub-Saharan Africa, South Africa, and we worked on aspects, the entire value chain of cocoa and chocolate. And we are working in the Netherlands. We do a lot of work in the Netherlands on Dutch coastal zone issues. And we have, it's used in Japan, and issues on climate change in the Philippines. So it works, it's functional in formal education and the public domain. You use the films in workshops, workshop participants work in group in three types: program, scoping, stakeholder consultation, and action. So it's, you do the interviews to come to policy design, for example. Yeah, and here you see a framework of the workshop. So it starts with the scoping phase, so people have to watch and search. It's a kind of a desk study. Then you use the interviews, and then you come to formulation of recommendations for action. You see some pictures at your right, how it's used in the Netherlands, at Delft University of Technology. And it's, what you see is they do watch the interviews, and at the same time there are quite some debates among students how to understand people, which also links to the safe space you create, because it's not always easy to understand what people are doing, but students dare to admit and dare to ask each other for clarifying questions they may not do in a live situation. I don't know if we have time, but if not, I leave you with the links. Yeah, this is about VPA climate change adaptation in Aurora. And what you see here also, that there are a variety of organizations involved, because the initial production is somehow costly. Once you have the set of interviews, you can use it for many years. And that's what you can see here. This refers to an interview with Ibu Shakuntala in Alapura in South India, whom we interviewed in 2003. Yeah, and even later in 2020, we made a new interview with her. But it means they remain relevant for such a long period of time. So investing in these type of learning strategies is worth the effort. Here are also some links, which I will later share for you. There are some promotional films available on YouTube. You can't see the interviews. As I mentioned, aspects of privacy and representation, they are not visible. And we have a website on VPA for you to look further. Now, if you now go to another way of using ICTs in rural learning, yeah, we're moving now to the website www.peatland.eu, which is about aspects of peat restoration. Yeah, I think in Europe, similar as in Indonesia, peatlands and degradation of peatlands is a big issue, and thinking, how can we work on this? In this case, this also was initiated in Corona times, that we developed, yeah, a virtual country, but and you see on the graphics, for the graphics we worked with a studio, well, with good designers and used to make animations. So in the peatlands, so it's a kind of a map, we have 4 farms. We have a conventional farm, we have a farm with paludiculture, we have the farm New Energy, who is working with renewable energy, and a livestock farmer who switched from cows to water buffaloes. So there are 4 farms on the map to look at different business models, yeah, but to look at different activities, and to have all the aspects farmers consider while they are active on their farm. But this is combined in peatland with the major institutions, which also define sorry, what is going on. So there is a town hall, there is a bank, there's a shop, a museum, and a university. The university is of course nice. That we are developing courses, not always real courses, but it's very much about linking different farms and different the different institutions. Yeah, for example, in the town hall there's a mayor, and the mayor, she every now and then visits international conferences on peat issues. In the bank, the idea is to have more information on diverse business models. The museum has different activities. One example we like very much, there is a photo an exhibition of paintings made by children, which is their interpretation of peatlands. And in the university, there is one of the courses in the universities with an assignment for students to go to the museum and to have an interpretation, to write an essay about discursive practices of children, how they see their future. It's work in progress, yeah. And how is it in progress? To bring this to release it, it's only recently released, you have to formulate design principles. Yeah. And the major design principle is that this is, it's like a simulation of a country, it's a serious game, it's not a repository of documents. Yeah, very often you have like the peatland.Indonesia, it's a very nice website with a lot of information, but that's what you call, it's a little bit a repository, although that's not fair because they also have films, they have courses, etc. Yeah, but in this case, it's a design which is linked to the field of simulation and serious gaming. It is developed with different strategies for an intercultural international approach. So it's covering entire of Europe, not one specific country, which comes with a lot of aspects for looking at name giving, how to represent all the different subcultures, religions, characters, etc. In all the regions. It's based on profile stories of fictitious media, and it has a visual approach. So there is quite a focus on youth, yeah, trying to make it attractive for them. So you have 4 farms, you have 5 town buildings, there are 4 languages, major languages in Europe. It's about linking all this, and it's a fictional reality. This is quite complicated to manage, and you need a large team. And you have to realize you don't get it, you don't invent it and then it's there. So here you see it's a little bit of flow of activities from sketches to sketches of animations. You see the name changed. Initially it was called Peat Experience Activity Town. So elaborating on the Peat acronym, and it were farms surrounding the towns, yeah, the institutions, and later it was all integrated, and that's how it came into being. That you have a country, yeah, with trains, with roads, the different institutions, and a farm. It's work in progress, not yet finished, but it's going on, yeah, and you can visit this website. So it's another example how we look how to communicate aspects of, in this case, farming in a specific situation of peatlands. Which means, in other terms, you start from user experience design to user interface design to content creation, prototype test, content creation, publication. There are many, many steps to take. Yeah. And in the user experience design, you have to know sufficient about peatland problematics, but also about serious game design. In the user interface design, we are working hard to have a style guide. Yeah. As initially you have a lot of what we call intuitive design. Yeah. So the graphic designer is making things, but there comes a moment that it has to be clear to everybody that people should abide by certain designs. Then you have the editorial policy. I mean, not everything is always going to be included. You know? If you go to prototype testing, again, you check for the serious game design. There are content checks, yeah, because the people who are developing the user experience design won't be the peatland restoration problem experts. Again, you apply the style guide, and again, you check for the editorial policy. So it's quite a complicated process with, of course, the complication of funding. Who is going to pay for all this? And how do you manage? Because you really have larger groups of people. I mean, if you would have a more linear structure, to say, here are the researchers telling, this is what you have to do in peatland, you go to do this, then you make a brochure or a radio program. There have been easier times. And then once it's finally released, you also have the maintenance. So how long, what is the lifetime of a certain aspect of the website, and where should things stop or leaving. Now we go to the Digital Farmer Field School, and for your advantage here, we have a little bit more of Bahasa Indonesia included, which is actually, it's not my quality, but my colleagues from the University Muhammadiyah in Enrekang, who are joining in this project. So I left some of the translations. So the origin of the Digital Farmer Field School, it originated in West Africa during the Ebola epidemic. And here you see a quote from Mohammed Fofana. He is heading Jula Consultancy, which is a larger group of cocoa extension advisor in the east of Sierra Leone, working with almost 30,000 cocoa farmers. And they were in a nice training program when Ebola hit, and Ebola was even more severe than Corona. Yeah, so that were very, very complete lockdowns. And then they approached me because in this case, they had a limited access to whatever extension messages. They could use radio messages, but it was also complicated by a low level of literacy of the farmers involved. So that's different. We are ending up in Indonesia, but there you have a different literacy situation. So here they approached us and asked for, could you come up with another design? Yeah. So we started to work on Digital Farmer Field School. So developing Farmer Field School to a digital surrounding, applying still Farmer Field School learning principles in combination with responsible innovation criteria and Van Dijk's digital technology model on different types of access. So Farmer Field School learning principles, some of them it's a selection. Again, it's about farmers in groups being the direct users, but also with the extension agents or the advisory services in the back office. So it's still the interaction is there, and it considers farmers as stakeholders in a larger value chain. So it's not only one message for one farm, but it's with an overview of the entire system. Then if we look at responsible innovation criteria, that means that it helps the designers to feel accountable to the situation. Yeah? So in terms of anticipation, yeah, it is about how does it work for the farmers, and not as in earlier times, are farmers smart enough to adopt our messages? No, it's us, the designers and the deliverers. We have to make care in advance that it's going to be relevant. Reflexivity means that you continuously share with potential users. Yeah. Always checking in line with the anticipation dimension. Yeah, is it relevant, and do people understand or experience the material the way we proposed it would work out? Yeah, so you have aspects of inclusion. Yeah, so if we talk about inclusion and diversity, do we know at whom we are looking, and do we make it practical? And responsiveness is also that you have to recognize the diverse actor group, and you have to be careful not to create new interdependencies, which is of course very clear with digital devices. Yeah, who has access to the device? Yeah, in this case it was tablet based. Who is going to own the device, and how do you organize it that it is working and the entire group has access? So we use Van Dijk's digital technology model, which is about different types of access. So it's nice because it trickled down issues of access. So it's not only who has a tablet or who has money to buy the access, but also are people able to operate access, which in this case, for example, people were afraid, is it only the male coordinator of the group, and women won't never have access, also because at a certain moment, because not have physical access, you also don't gain operational skills. Yeah, so this is the the model we used, and this is how it was organized. This is the opening screen where you see Kushi means hello, and there you see it's about agricultural practices, social practices, certification, and the environmental practices. The lady in the red dress is Fatou. Fatou is the main character in all animations. Yeah, and you see also the office with Musa and Joyce. So there were two major advisors or extension officers where messages could be posted, questions could be asked, but also pictures. So for example, of a pest or a disease, yeah, people could post a picture and ask for advice. So the training we did was with the prototype, we tested it with the advisory service employees first. So this is here, we are at work, you recognize this is the prototype on tablets, and it was also practiced with farmer groups themselves. So this is a group of cocoa farmers in Sierra Leone. And what we continuously do ourselves, what is happening, and this is what you can see in this film, this gives a reflection. This is Mohamed Fofana, and with this film you can see how he tells about the relevance of the Digital Farmer Field School and how they are going, or how they plan to work with it. Yeah. Now, later on, this was developed in other occasions, but then it's since some years we are working in Enrakan, Sulawesi. Yeah, and for what reason? The motivation is that in Enrakan, the regional government invited us because they said, well, our problem is really how to deal with the dilemma of increasing economy without destroying the ecosystem. Yeah, and there was a need, therefore, to have rural innovations to increase farmers' access to information on sustainable farming practices, and we have to work in new ways and new approaches. They got organized in a living lab, yeah, and here you see what was very interesting in Enrakan, and I really admire this, how they managed to work together. They said, well, it's not a simple innovation which is going to help us out, but we have to join hands to come with a synchronized approach towards farmers. So the environmental office, the agriculture office, Uniman, the district of etc., they all joined hands in developing this. Again, similar as to the other website, you see there is a complex cycle, yeah, from design principles to prototype. In this case, it was based on a larger social ecological system analysis, moving to user experience design, user interface design, and then you see in the left upper corner the first design of the Digital Farmer Field School in Enrakan. But below you say also putting confidentiality agreement into practice. There was quite a dedicated focus on aspects of confidentiality and privacy, yeah, because if you are going to upload photos, or another major question also, to what extent are we going to exchange, for example, financial information by certain farmer groups? How are we going to deal with it? And it was very clear that the first one to put this into practice were the people designing the Digital Farmer Field School. Yeah. So here you see the Sekolah Lapang Digital Enrakan with the opening, the Selamat Datang, and again you see there are two major animated farmers. Yeah, and then you see the different fields it's going to focus, and again we have a counter with the advisory services over there. Then recently, or half a year ago, yeah, we proceeded with prototype testing, both with the extension service, if you see in the first picture, and also with farmers looking at the function on the features. So could people, did they recognize it? Was it interesting? Was it relevant? So you hear me, it's also about being interesting, yeah? You have to make things attractive, not just, okay, it's very you make money out of it, or it's important, blah, blah, but it should also have a sense of attraction by itself. It's of course about user skills, what it didn't do was the relevance of the content. It was basically the general architecture of the Digital Farmer Field School. Of course, what you see and what we try to share with you, it's the result of a long design process. You won't be able to say, okay, let's start today, and then you have it in the next month. And in this entire process, you really have to focus, what are we doing? And in NRECON, they partially did it. Here you see it started in 2018. This was the very first discussions and workshops we had, moving to the ICADI conference in 2021, where we documented the very start, so the co-constructing the principles for the design of the Digital Farmer Field School. And then in 2031, we also joined the winner conference about the Living Lab. And most recently, you see here the first author, Ibu Nudaria Luiring. She won 2 weeks ago an FAO award, and we will meet her in some weeks to come at an international conference in France. So I would say congratulations to Sulawesi and the Digital Farmer Field School and NRECON. And the continuous effort to the group to document their work. We have a small report about the prototype testing, which is available on YouTube, where you can check it. And now let me try to come to some conclusions. If we talk about ICT design and development for rural learning, communication and advisory services, we looked here at 3 cases. And in each case, you see it's a long trajectory, from designing what you would like to do till the final use. And it's a creative process. It's a creative not only in the sense that you have to make things, but design. If you talk nowadays about design thinking, it's not only chaos and artistic or whatever, but we do talk about open minds to thinking how to make it work. It's not a linear production process. It's quite an iterative production process with continuously testing. And it will never be possible to do this by yourself, because you need a variety of people in a team. So in formal terms, it's about human-centered design, which requires a long-term vision, which may be hindered by financial and other resources, but also, you need expertise and training of new transdisciplinary professionalism. And therefore, I think I like to congratulate IPB. Very good. You are addressing these issues in your summer school. We need new professionals. We need to train the younger generation. Also because the final conclusion, it's a little bit like building a bridge while you walk on it. Digital Farmer Field School, it's currently in Indonesia. You are doing a lot of good work, and there is quite a lot of attention. The same for the issue of peatland serious games, and the same for the VPA. And here you have more links to website if you want to dig to it. And we probably will continue, because with Unimen in NRECON, we continue working on Digital Farmer Field School. And with ITB in Bandung, we are currently working, trying to produce a visual problem appraisal on Citarum River, which comes from East Java, supplying Jakarta with drinking water. And we will also have a look if we can co-develop the European peatland website and the Indonesian peatland website. So we are collaborating with them, and thank you for your invitation, and maybe there's more to come if we think about training the young generation with the Sekolah Vokasi from IPB. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Professor Dr. Luz Wittervan, for your inspiring presentations. It's so lovely, it's so thoughtful, it's so inspiring. So now for all the participants, here's the time to can we go to Q&A session, Miss Luz?
Yeah.
Shall we? Okay. Yeah, you can raise hand. You can click your raise hand icon. So maybe Miss Luz. Okay, committee, please. If there any want to raise hand. Okay, okay. From the chat room, is there no questions? Maybe from me, Miss Luz. Okay. It is so thoughtful because you create the ICT base for prototyping in land and Rekang in cocoa in Africa, I thought, yeah. So is there any possible research for the next level for us to maybe, as you say before, the collaboration? Yeah, what is the next level? Yeah, what is the next level of the research from this DFFS, from this visual VBA? Yeah, if I'm not correct. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What is the next level of the research?
Well, what is the next level? First, we, as we were that's why we Suhendi met as well last year at the Dutch embassy. So there is this ambition to continue, and we also are in conversation with Bryn to see can we bring this further, because a major issue is indeed the funding, and the funding is also difficult. Because it's somehow it's hard for people to understand how this process, how it takes time, and thanks for immediately recognizing it requires research and it requires training. Yeah, so people are very optimistic, wishing, oh, let's do it. Yeah, let's start Digital Farm Field School. Let's start with serious gaming in rural advisory service, etc., etc. But before you're there, there is a lot of things to do, and we basically train all over the world. We do this training in the direct commercial advertisement and marketing field. Yeah, but if you don't have people who are conversant with aspects of rural livelihood, of agriculture production chains, you won't manage, So you need this series of transdisciplinary qualities, and also, as you rightly refer to the prototyping, can't just take people out of fields where ICT development is more common, which is the commercial field. If you won't take them easily into the field to work with a farmer group. To understand the dynamics in rural communities is different. So, and then in the basics, even the very interviews, like is our experience with VPA. Students are trained nowadays to do an interview, for quantitative information. How many this, how many percentages, how many cows, how many liters. Yeah, but trying to listen to less coherent stories, so more qualitative approaches to research, requires also different trainings of our students.
Okay, so there is the advantage, to deliver from the user, and you have to create the design, so you create the design from the user. That's the advantage from this research area. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. There's is there anyone who wants to ask something? Maybe. I thought there is students from software engineering technology study program. Okay, this is your opportunity to maybe to deliver some the Torik Rauf. Okay, there's one Miss from Torik Rauf. Okay, please can you open your mic, please?
Okay, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay, so Miss, I mean, Prof, I'm sorry. From what you're saying about the design, it seems that funding is one of the biggest problems, right? So, do the government not take part in this?
Yes, governments are investing in it, but the interesting thing is so far that we also have to explain the complexity of the process. Yeah, so it's somehow a new view, yeah, on options for digital design. So it's not blaming the governments that they don't fund. I think also that we have to be very active in explaining the relevance and the needs. And that is a bit, you know, we have to do more research in the sense that we have to explain what we are doing. We have to train students. Yeah, we have to continue practicing in certain fields so that we have good practices to share. Yeah, and at the same time we have to find funding for all these processes. So it's a little bit of everything together.
How is it, Torik?
Yes, I understand your point, because I believe that rural learning is such an important thing for some of the country, or even for a developing country. That's why it just seems weird for me that government doesn't really seem to take part in this.
Yeah.
But I get your answer, and thank you very much.
Yeah, to give an example, maybe the regional government in Rakan, they have been very supportive. So they have been funding colleagues in Rakan, but they also have been very active in bringing people together. Yeah, and they are hosting us in the guest house, etc. So they have been very active. So let's hope. And I think that was also, you know, there are aspects like your invitation today. I mean, that's how we collaborate and can share experiences amongst colleagues. So I think that's also nice, which is our responsibility as researchers to say yes, even though I'm about to leave because I have to give another lecture. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Miss Professor Dr. Luz Widevan, for your inspiring presentation, your thoughtfulness. So we have to move to the next presentation. Thank you very much before Miss Louise for your presentation. So yeah, we go to the second presenter from Mr. Matthew Spinardi. He's graduated from agronomy at Universidad Estadual de Ponta Grossa from 2008 until 2013. He's from Modern Dairy Farmer. The experience is he's a farmer or the owner of at Agropecuaria Nova Italia. and he's the agronomist at Insolo Agroindustrial lPBA from 2014 until now. So, Mr. Matthews, the time is yours.
Everyone, it's a very great opportunity to be here, sharing our experience and learning more. So I'm going to share my presentation. Is it, can you see the screen? Is it
Yes.
okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Can you full screen? You can click the button F5, or you can click the what I called it's board ya. Itu yang di F5 ya, F5 buttons, you can click that.
It's not working, the F5.
Oh, that's not working. Maybe you can click the right button in the bottom. You can
Not like that.
I'm sorry, maybe you can click on the slideshow button. Slideshow button, yes. Just
I don't know
beside
what it's
the
called,
plus
the icon,
minus on your right bottom side of your screen. Slideshow button, it is located right beside the plus and minus.
Minus zoom, right?
Zoom in and zoom out on your right bottom of your screen.
Or you just can.
No, not like that, no.
Okay, maybe you see the minus and plus zoom. As I see, it's 90.
Yes, just move a bit to the left. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
The icon.
You can press the button of the slideshow.
You can see anotasus, comentarios, the very
slideshow
right
button.
Slideshow button.
Just beside the minus.
Yeah, just beside the
minus icon.
Where is the minus icon?
In the bottom.
I think you just clicked it on
Yes.
your right bottom side of
The
your
right
screen.
bottom side of your screen, there is plus and minus, and then beside the minus, the right bottom right. You can see.
Can you see my screen? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
Actually, we can see your screen, Mr. Matthew, but it is not full screen.
Yeah,
we cannot say
for
full
me.
Screen.
This is why.
Oh,
I mean, can we request that you make it full screen so we can see it? There's only one single slide. Yeah.
Maybe you have to, or maybe you already the full screen, but the screen it's not.
Actually, we can see it now where I come from, but we actually request for you to make it full screen, Mr. Matthews. Will it be?
Maybe you close your screen and you do it again.
Yeah.
Share screen and we do it the very first.
I mean, to make it full screen, in the right down corner, there is actually make it for the double click for full screen, right? This is available if you click it.
Yeah.
To be full screen.
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I'm new to this.
Okay. Yeah.
Now this goes to the bottom.
If you comfort with this screen, it's okay. Maybe we.
That's it. Yeah, double click it up. It's on progress now.
Okay. Nah. Yeah.
So this is our farm. I will start showing a little bit of what we do here in Brazil. I'm from the south of Brazil. Brazil is mostly known for samba, Rio de Janeiro, and Carnival, and we don't have that where I live. Brazil is divided in 26 states, and my state is called Paraná, and my city is Carambi. So I'm showing you the map of Brazil, and we live here in the south.
I'm sorry, Mr. Matthews. We already see the very first slide, so maybe you can close your share screen, and you can share screen again with all the screen. So I just can see the slide, the first slide. So when you share screen, you click the very left screen. So we can see the whole your screen. Okay. You click the share screen again.
Can you see now?
Yes, I can. But we see the editor from presentation. Yeah, we cannot see your full screen. But it's okay. It's okay. You can continue without a full screen. You can continue with this screen. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to put it in full screen. You can see the maps here.
Okay, but I cannot see your mouse clicking. Maybe you when you click the next slide, we already see the first slide again and again. So maybe you have to close your share screen, and we see your, okay, maybe you click your screen, not your only PPT, or maybe I show you, yeah. Okay, I click the screen, so you can see my screen, and this is my PPT, yeah. So you can click this screen, so we see the full. Okay, but if you want to see this slide, it's okay. But so you just can click the full screen. This click, you don't have to click that that icon. Okay. Yeah. Can you do it again, Mr. Matthews? Okay. I'm sorry.
Miss Gemma.
Yeah.
Miss Gemma. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthews, maybe I can help you to share your screen. Yeah, I have your file, so we can help you.
Miss Ira, it's already, we can see the full screen. Okay.
Can you see it now?
Mr. Matthews, it's okay. Yeah. Good. It's good. Okay.
Now it's working.
You can continue you can continue the presentation. Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Matthews. You can continue it.
Okay. Sorry for that. I'm using the Zoom. we have the maps. We live in a very good place for milk production. We have a good climate, and there are a lot of companies that buy the milk. We are 1,050 meters above the sea level, and the average temperature is about 17 degrees Celsius. And the rainfall we get, it's 1,500 millimeters annually. And we have a good advantage because it rains the whole year, so we can grow crops the whole year. This farm originally belonged to my grandfather, and he was a beef farmer. And then in 1987, my father rented from him and started a very small dairy farm with only 8 cows. He always believed in the potential of dairy farmer, and he started growing his business. And now in 2022, me and my brother Victor took over the operation. Are you listening okay? Is everything working now?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
this is the picture from the old days, how my father started. And this is him with a few cows and growing crops. So this is like 1980. We have these barns where the cows live, and you can see the mouse, okay? When I shoot the points. So talking about the farm, we are milking 600 cows, and we also have 90 dry cows. These are the cows that are not giving milk and waiting to have their babies. 6 the bottle feeding calves, these are the babies, and 120 calves between 3 to 6 months, it's like the kids, and 338 heifers from 7 to 23 months. So these are the teenagers of the farm. The cows are milked 3 times per day. In the summer, the milk average is 39 liters per cow per day. And in the winter and spring, the average is 41 liters per cow per day. And we use the artificial insemination to get the cows pregnant. We have these rumination collars that monitors the cows. So anytime I can check on the cell phone and see how the cows are doing. So it tells me if there's a cow that is sick or in heat, and it also tells when they are suffering from heat stress. So this is how it looks like. And in my cell phone, this is the app we use to check the cows. Here I can see the cows that are with the low rumination rate, and I can go check on them. For example, this cow 2261 is the number of the cow. It shows me that the rumination is going down and the activity of the cow is going down, and she's being still for a long time. So this shows me that this cow is sick. So somebody has to go and check on this cow. This other one shows me that this cow is in heat, so this is the perfect time to inseminate to get them pregnant. And this is the chart that shows when she's in heat. So the rumination goes down and the activity of the cow goes up. So it generates an alert on the phone, and I can know what's going on with the cow. It also shows me the milk production, the latest milk production of these cows, and it shows me before we heard. So this is helps to have control of the dairy farm, and we have everything easy. Now I'm going to show you some videos of the farm so you can see what we are doing over here. So this is the main entrance of the farm. And this building on the left is where we keep the machinery and the tools, and if something breaks down, this is where we fix. There's the calf barn where the babies stay, and this one is it's a barn where we keep the concentrates for the cows. Here is one of the guys that is preparing the meal for the cows, and this is where we keep the food. These are the little calves that are growing up to become good milking cows. And here are the little babies that are drinking milk yet. And this place is where we milk the cows. So this is a silo for storing milk, and also the bulk tanks where we refrigerate milk until the truck comes to take it to the industry. So here is where they stay to be milked. And this barns is the place where the cows live. So they have comfortable beds and fresh water, and always have feed in front of them so they can eat anytime they want. And always high quality feed and the control of the temperature. So when it's too hot, we sprinkle water over them, and we blow air with the fans. So it takes the heat away from the cow. So this is the place where we live. We have some containers to store medicines and other tools. And this is the other view from the farm, going back to the same where we came from. Now I'll show a little bit how the milking process is made. It's always a good sign when the cows are ruminating, so it shows us that they are comfortable and they are relaxed. So they stay 16 cows on each side, and the machines milks one side, and then the guys put the machines on the other side and milk the other side. So this machine can milk 120 cows per hour. And these ones are ready to go. So we put a product that helps to sanitize the teeth so they don't grow bacteria. So this is another room where the machine gets clean, and also the bulk tanks where we put the milk to wait for the truck to come and pick it up. These are filters for the milk, and from the cows it goes straight to the tank. So this now is a view from the food pile. This is silage. We have to store the food for the cows for the whole year. So our cows don't go on pasture. They stay inside the barns and we bring the food to them. So we have to store the food for make it ready for the cows. In this case, the older heifers are this is where they live until they grow up to be milking cows. So these heifers, they will be inseminated when they are 13 months old, and hopefully when they get to 23 or 24 months old, they will give their first birth, and then they start producing milk. So we don't have barns for everybody yet. So the bigger heifers will stay outside because they are tougher, and then they can stand the worst conditions when it's rainy or too much sun or heat. So we try to keep inside the smaller ones because they will suffer more if they are in bad conditions. So now I'm going to show how it's inside the barn where the milking cows are living. So this is where they lay down, this is their beds. And every time they go milking, we clean the beds and put lime on it so it kills the bacteria. And we also have to scrape the alleys where they stay. And the water will
Recording in progress.
so they stay relaxed and they can rest to prepare to give birth and to prepare for the next lactation. So these are the cows going to the milking parlor. One thing that is very important in this type of system, because everybody is confined, and so the cost of the infrastructure is very high, and the cost of labor is high, and the cost of machinery. So we have to breed great cows with great genetics so they can pay for that. So because they have to produce a lot of milk to be worth all the investment. And we also breed them to be, we don't only breed thinking about them giving more and more milk. We breed thinking about them becoming a healthy cow that will stay longer on the herd and will adapt very well to this condition, so they won't suffer. So we want them to be as happy as possible. You can see in the video the rumination collars that monitor the cows. And the other girls are relaxing on the back. Okay, and then we have the manure management. We produce a lot of manure because there's a lot of cows that are placed in a small area. So we have to collect and we mix it to pump to the screen separator. So we separate the liquid portion of the manures. So we will use the liquid to irrigate the fields, and so they also irrigate and fertilize at the same time. And the solid portion will be transported where the fields are further away. So we don't have a high cost of transporting liquids. And part of this solids is also used as bedding for the cows. So this is the machine where it separates the liquid from the solids. And this is the lagoon where the liquid is stored until it goes to be spread on the fields. Liquid is sprayed with this type of equipment that will spread the water and fertilize the fields. And this is how we work with the solids. We also spread on the fields, and it helps to improve the soil. So this is very high in organic matter and also in nutrients. So it will help us to grow better crops. This is the machine spreading it. We use a lot of machinery on the farm, but they don't belong everything to us. For example, this machine is rented, so there's a custom farmer that comes and do this operation, and there are other guys that come to plant, the other guys come to make the silage, because it would be too much costly for us to have all the equipment we need. So this is the solids that comes from the manure, and this will be used for bedding. So it makes a soft cushion for the cow, and it becomes very comfortable. The feed production on the farm, we use 180 hectares, from which 27 are for alfalfa production, and 153 we use on a crop rotation. We plant the main crop, corn, on the summer, and after we harvest the corn, we plant another corn crop or sorghum. We call it safrinha, and after we harvest that, we'll plant ryegrass or oats. So in 1 year, we harvest 3 crops, and we own half of the land and we rent the other half. So this is one of the guys that is a custom farmer and comes to plant for us. This was taken last week. And this is the alfalfa. It's a very, very good forage and with high protein value. So it helps us to produce the milk. And this is the sorghum. We are harvesting it for silage. The sorghum is mainly used for the heifers. And this is the corn silage. Okay, so this is what I had to share. And thank you very much. Any questions? We are here to answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Matthews, for your presentation. It's very large barn, yeah. You have 6,000, 600, yeah.
600 cows.
600 cows, yeah. There's a lot of cows.
Yes.
Okay. We go to the Q&A session for all the participants who wants to ask the question. Okay, you can click the raise hand icon. Okay, there are one. Okay, one participant. Okay, Kansa Amanda. Okay, Kansa Amanda. And two participants, yeah. Izudin Haidar. Oh, 3. where? Oh, I see 3. Okay, I see 3 participants who wants to ask something to you, Mr. Matthews. Okay, the first one is from Kansa Amanda. Welcome, please.
Okay, so my question is, I was so curious about what kind of breed that you raise in your farm, and from what stages are you raise those cows? Okay, thank you. That's my question.
Okay, so these are all, they are called the Holstein cows. They originally came from Holland, and we have been breeding them for a long time in Brazil. And you ask about from each age we grow them, is that right? What was the second question?
The second one, from what stages are you raise those cows?
So they all of them are born on the farm. So we grow them since they are little babies. When they are born, we have to separate them from the other cows, from their mothers, because there's too many cows together in the same place. And if we don't take the baby immediately, it can happen that one cow will step over them and make them hurt. So we have everybody separate, and we have guys that will take care of the baby and feed them every day, twice a day, and always making sure they are growing very well. Is that okay?
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you for the answer.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Kansa Amanda. We go to the second, Izudin Haidar. Izudin Haidar. Yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello, my name is Izudin. I'm from IPB University. I'm from Indonesia. My question is, What is your vision for the farm they recall in Brazil or in the world? Thank you.
What is my vision? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. We have a background of a growing farm when my father started, and we also see that for the future because farming here in Brazil is becoming much like in the USA, where we have to make big farms to be profitable. So the margin of the business is very low. So we have to make a big volume of milk to be profitable and stay in business. Currently, we are having low milk prices, and a lot of smaller farms are having to shut down because they don't make any profits of it. What I see for the future is in where we live is the farms are going to get bigger and more specialized, and it needs to be very professional on what you're doing because we cannot make many mistakes anymore because we can go bankrupt. And I don't know in Indonesia how is the dairy farming going, if there are many dairy farms over there, and how is that going on. But every time in agriculture you have to be more professional. This is what I see for the future. So we have always to use creativity, and I believe Indonesia maybe have the same problem as we have. The machinery cost is very high, so for us to have a new technology or a new machinery, it costs a lot of money. So we have to use creativity every time and make things better and try to go for cheaper materials or things like that. So you always have to see us as a company, as a business. Is that okay?
Okay, is it? How is it?
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Izidin. We go to the third participant, Regina Ratu Virus. Okay, you can unmute yourself. Hello, Regina. Hello, Regina. You can unmute yourself. Okay.
Sorry, I use my microphone because I have trouble with my microphone. Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask about milking machine. Is the milking machine installed all the time, or is there a certain schedule for installing the milking machine for milking cows?
Sorry, I couldn't hear it very well.
Oh, sorry. Is the milking machine installed all the time, or is there a certain schedule for installing the milking machine?
Okay. This milking machine is inside the building, so it will stay on same place all the time. But we run it all day long because it's 3 times a day, and each milking to milk all the cows will take us 5.5 hours. So we have a small interval between each milking, and this relates to the previous question about the dairy farming, because we have to put more cows through the milking machine to make it profitable. So we use as much as we can of the machine to make a good result from it.
Okay, how is it, Regina? Is that okay?
Thank you for the answer, sir.
I want to make everybody free to ask, and if sometimes I don't answer what you ask very well, is because sometimes I don't understand the question, so you can ask again. It's no problem. We're here to answer everybody.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry for two participants because we are limit of our time. So maybe you can ask the speaker from the chat, yeah, so we can send you the answer for the speaker. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Matthias, for your inspiring presentations. Good luck for your barn. Okay.
Thank you very much.
See you again. Yeah. Okay. See you again in the next time. Okay.
Okay.
We go to the next speaker. Thank you, Mr. Matthias, again. Okay, we go to the next speaker. The third speaker is come from Mrs. Dr. Noelia Castelio Montoya. He's the head of the R&D Smoothies Frescon Technology. He's postdoctoral researcher in University of Foggia, Italy. Okay, Miss Noelia, are you ready?
Can you hear me?
The time. Okay, yeah, I can hear you clearly. Okay, the time is yours, Miss.
Okay, thank you. Can you see my presentation?
Okay, yeah,
okay.
I can see.
Okay, I would like to talk about an updated overview of smoothie technology and future perspectives. Today's lifestyle and eating habits have a defined consumer profile that demands natural, wholesome, safe food with a high sensory and nutritional quality. Also, ready-to-eat foods, easy and immediate, with minimal and sustainable processing. So for this reason, fruits and vegetables are of great interest to this consumer. They are rich in nutritional compounds and bioactive compounds, and they can decrease the risk of chronic disease and some types of cancer. However, most of us don't eat enough fruit and vegetable. We can see here in this graph that China, Turkey, and Asia Pacific country, they reach the minimum limit that the World Health Organization recommends, that is 400 grams per day. For example, Asia Pacific consume at least 560 grams per capita and per day. But there are many countries in the world that they don't reach this limit. So also we can find some organizations that promote this consumption of fruit and vegetable. And the slogan is "Eat 5 a day." So fruit and vegetable-based beverage could be a good option to encourage the consumption of fruit and vegetable. The most common fruit-based drink is a juice, but normally juice contain only the liquid extraction. So with the smoothie, we can include in our product also the fiber and many other bioactive compounds and nutritional compounds. So we have a product more rich in this kind of compounds. So the smoothie concept appeared in 1990s, and originally this is a drink, was a dairy-based smoothie with fruits, and was prepared on the day to be consumed with ice. Later, Rodriguez Verastegui et al. In 2016 have defined a smoothie like a non-alcoholic beverages prepared from fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables, which are blended and usually mixed with crushed ice to be immediately consumed. So we can find the next category in the smoothies. So dairy-based smoothies, fruit-based smoothies, or vegetable-based smoothie. Within these two groups, we can differentiate between organic and inorganic smoothie, depending on the origin of the ingredients. If we do a bibliographic search in Web of Science, we can see with the topic smoothie, we can see that the number of the publication in this area is so low, and we started to see some publication in 2010, and the average between 2010 and 2015 is about 10 publications, and we see the peak in 2018, 2019, but is of 45 publications, still being low. So the reason could be that the smoothie is a complex matrix to study. So many researchers prefer to use like a model. According to the smoothie market, this reached a value of $15.7 billion in 2022, and the global smoothie market is expected that increase slowly in 5 years up to $21.1 billion. So here we can see the main players. The main players that participate in the smoothie market. Some of them, there are franchises, but also we can see the interest of this topic, smoothie, because the major brand of drinks like PepsiCo and Coca-Cola have launched a commercial line on smoothie. Okay, so the main factor to preserve the quality of the smoothie, we have to consider this factor because we have a perishable product, because we are blended many fruit and vegetable, so we have a product with a high water activity. So we have risk of microbial growth and also many enzymatic reaction. So we have to take into account the raw materials, also apply optimal pre-processing operation. We have to consider the reduction of temperature, also the pH below that 4.5, and we can add some agents like citric acid, for example, to reduce this pH. Also, a critical point is the heat treatment. We need to prolong the shelf life, and also we have to obtain a safe product. So we have to apply some treatments. Another important point is packaging. We can use inner atmospheres, vacuum, or aseptic condition, and important refrigerated storage. The unit operation in the smoothie processing are selection of fruit and vegetables, washing and pre-processing, removal of unedible parts, and blending. Here, weight and mix fruit and vegetable depending on the formulation. And also in this point, we can add optional ingredients to increase the value of our smoothie. So here, as I have said before, this is a critical point. So we need to apply thermal or non-thermal treatments. And this unit operation must be done in clean rooms. Later, we have packaging, cooling below 5 degrees, and transport refrigerated. And this operation must be carried out in a cold condition. Sorry, because I cannot see the titles. Okay. So, processing technologies to preserve quality and safety. Okay. The conventional heat treatment is pasteurization. This is common for use and also for smoothies. So we have to apply high temperature, and we can destroy pathogens and also alterant microorganisms, also inactivate enzymes, but the problem is that we reduce the sensory and nutritional quality of our product. So some alternatives are apply thermal treatment and not thermal treatment. I'm going to talk about only the treatment that we can find in the smoothie field. And also, I want to share with you some research. For example, here we study green vegetable-based smoothie. It was made from cucumber, broccoli, spinach, and also lemon juice to reduce the pH. And we apply a pasteurization with a thermoresistometer. And the treatment that we applied was two kinds of treatment. One was a longer time at a lower temperature, and another one was a shorter time at higher temperature. So we see here, this is the concentration of phenolic compounds and also glucosinolate, that this is the main compound, the most important compound in brassicas, in this case in broccoli. And we can see that the treatment with shorter time at higher temperature manage the content of phenols and glucosinolates, and also we can see that was better compared with the initial value and also with the another treatment that we studied. For example, another alternative treatment could be microwaves. They are energetic waves between 0.3 and 300 gigahertz, and they create two fields, electric and magnetic, and molecular are moving between these two fields. So we can have high penetration capacity and thermal efficiency and speed. But the cons are that no uniform temperature distribution we can find in our product, and we can find also surface degradation. We did a study here with also microwave treatment, apply shorter times and higher temperature. So this is the thermographic picture, and we can see that there are hottest point and also coldest point, but we can see that the temperature distribution is not bad. We can accept, because at least the point coldest is achieve the reduce of microbial load. Also, another treatment is high hydrostatic pressure. Here, the pressure that we can apply is between 100 and 1000 megapascals. And we can destroy microorganisms, inactivate enzymes, preserve sensory and nutritional quality, no waste, and lower energy consumption. But the cons is that we need a high cost, we need a high invest in this equipment, and also we need staff training, and we have to study case by case to obtain the best combination of temperature and pressure depending on our product. Here I want to show you some research that they use smoothie like a model. The optimum condition, we can see that is between 300 megapascal and 600. And the time is 5 minutes, and the temperature is low, from 10 degree and 45 degree. So this is a no-thermal treatment. Also, we can apply more temperature, but we can see here that with this condition, we can obtain a good results. Maintain the vitamin C content, also antioxidants, flavonoids, and reduction of microorganisms. Pulse electric fields use voltage from 10 to 60 kilovolts. And also we can destroy microorganisms, minimal color changes, but this is not good for preserve nutritional value. It's better than another treatment that I mentioned before. But also there are some studies that we can see that they preserve the nutritional quality. Disadvantages: does not inactivate enzymes, does not suitable for food that are not pumpable or with low electrical conductivity. So in this case, smoothie is a thick beverage, so it's not a good treatment for this kind of product. In fact, only one paper be found. So here we can see that it's only for inactivation of mold and yeast, but not for increase or maintain bioactive compounds. Ultrasounds are mechanical waves propagated in an elastic medium, in this case our beverage, through the transfer of energy. So here we can see the fundamental, that is the way there are a up peak and a down peak. So it's compression, reflection all time. And in this move, we can see that the bubble formation, later the propagation in successive cycles, and increase the size of the bubble and until a point that this is unstable and collapse. So we can find also a heat transfer. The pros are that an assessment of bioactive compounds and preserves nutritional quality at lower temperature. And disadvantages are microbial and enzymatic inactivation has not been completely successful. And the free radicals generated due to the cavitation of this bubble result in lipid oxidation. So, for example, this is not good for a dairy-based smoothie. And also here we can find two kind of smoothie. And the main result obtained was better phenols, flavonoids, and anthocyanin. So also we can apply several strategies to enhance the nutritional quality. For example, we can add natural ingredients as food fortification supplements, that some ingredients that they are rich in health promoting compounds, or also there are some vitamins cannot be synthesized by humans, so we can add or ingredients with antimicrobial activity or proteins. Also, this is a good matrix to introduce revalorized plant byproduct. For example, leaf extract of broccoli, olive, or peel of pomegranate, citrus, but sometimes they give strange flavor. So another strategies will be encapsulate this the bioactive compounds, the more important bioactive compound in these byproducts. So the viability increase, and also we can control the releasing of these compounds. Another strategy is apply abiotic stresses at the ingredients. So now I'm going to show you some examples of these strategies. So we study 9 seaweeds. They are rich in minerals, phenols, vitamins, especially vitamin B12. So we add 2.2% of it in a smoothie made from grapes, broccoli, and cucumber. So the initial sensory score show us that chlorella and iris moss obtain the lower score. We can see here. So below 3, the limit. But when we study the content of vitamin B12, we can see that chlorella is the seaweed that has more content of vitamin B12, but also spirulina, and it has also a good acceptation for the consumer. So this kind of smoothie could be a solution or an option for vegans. And also we study abiotic stresses. We graded a carrot, and later we applied 2 kind of stresses. Is UVC at 9 kilojoules per meter square, and hyperoxia at 80 kilopascal of oxygen. So we can see that after that, we prepare a juice. After 72 hours at 15 degrees, we can see that the combination grated plus hyperoxia obtain the higher polyphenol increases between 1,000 and 1,500%. With the combination of UVC plus hyperoxia, we can obtain also high increases, but lower compared to the another previous combination. And the triple combination, I mean, UVC, hyperoxia, and also grated, we can see that the smaller increases. So maybe UVC has an inhibitory effect on polyphenolic content. Conclusions: the choice of ingredients to formulate fruit and vegetable smoothie can greatly determine their shelf life. Alternative higher temperature, short time, heat pasteurization treatment achieve higher sensory and microbial quality, generally without altering the main bioactive compounds changes and preserving the sensory quality. Non-thermal treatments are a good option to obtain a safe product without affecting the nutritional and sensory quality. Smoothies can be supplemented with natural compounds rich in phytochemicals like seaweed to enhance their nutritional quality. And in addition, we can implement various strategies to improve the nutritional quality of smoothies, such as the use of bioproducts, encapsulation of biocompounds, and the application of abiotic stresses. Also, we can talk a bit about the Sustainable Development Goals. In this case, we can consider 2 of them, the goal 3 and 12, goal of good health and well-being, and responsible consumption and production. Because smoothies can be a good way to encourage fruit and vegetable consumption, they are rich in compounds that are beneficial to our health, and we can also increase or maintain them with different sustainable techniques. This type of beverage is a good matrix to use by products and reduce food waste. And also they are customizable, and we can use local or underutilized foods in their formulation. And also, briefly, I would like to introduce our new line in the Frescon company that we would like to launch next year. So now it's only an idea, and we are working on that. But it's a fresh smooth, and it's an intelligent and novel smoothie based on precise body need approach. So the background is that there are many apps about health, exercise, and diet, but there are no a good interaction between the app and the consumer. So our proposal, our objective is that from our product that will be a smoothie made from powder ingredients, we can personalize depending of the lifestyle and preferences of our consumers, and also a physical condition of consumer. So we can obtain a precise formulation smoothie focus on case to case on the consumer. So thank you for your attention. I would like to, okay, here no, I think in the first slide I put my email. If you have any question now, I would like to solve, but also in the future, you can text me and we can talk on this topic or for any collaboration in the future. So thank you for all.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Ms. Noelia, and for your presentations, and thank you before for Mr. Matthews. Maybe this time for him to burn fruit. It's maybe 6 o'clock from his country right now. This earlier. Okay. Is there any question for Miss Noelia Castillejo? You can raise hand. Okay. Okay, you can. Okay, there are two, Miss. Two participants. Okay.
Yeah, only for 2 participants, Miss Gemma.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Ira. Okay, Dinda, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Does my sound audible? Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Ms. Gemma, and thank you so much for the awesome presentation, Ms. Noelia. I am Dinda. I want to ask about, you've been working on the research. So my question is there any potentially good for business profit, the fruit and the veggie that can is good for business profit, but it is hard to get? And if there any kind of fruit and veggie that is hard to get but has a lot of potential, what kind of food and vegetables? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Yes, I think it's a good line of business, this smoothie. We can see that there are no many information, scientific information about that, because I said before, this is a dense think beverage, so I think we have to improve more the knowledge about the thermal or non-thermal treatments. But I think also is so interesting because we can add many new ingredients that normally there are no known, or we cannot use, and we have closed our country, and this is under authorized ingredients. So it's a good point to put inside of our smoothie, and I think yes, it is good. Also in our line that we want to launch, we use, for example, power ingredients, because it's true that we can improve the shelf life of our smoothie. Because the problem is, if you don't apply a good treatment, the shelf life is low, maybe 2 weeks, no more.
Yeah, thank you so much for the information.
Okay, thank you, Dinda. So we go to the second question from Naila Konita. Yeah, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Miss Gemma. And I would like ask to Miss Noelia. So the smoothie product must be presented in good quality. So then the nutrients contained in the fruit or vegetable are not damaged and still last longer. In your opinion, what are the characteristics of your safe packaging for this smoothie product? And is there a special way to store smoothie to so the nutrients are not lost? Thank you.
Thank you. It's true that when we blend fruit and vegetable, we reduce, sometimes we increase the bioactive compound, but it's not real. This is more stable, so it's more bioavailability for us in the first day. But later, they are more exposed to the external conditions, so the nutritional compounds decrease compared with a whole fruit or vegetable that we can maintain this concentration of bioactive compounds. But I saw some strategies, that is some stress that we can apply to the fruit and vegetable for them is a defense, because they receive a stimuli that and they have to defend of that. But for us, this high concentration, this production of biocompounds is benefit for us. So yes, it's true that when we blend some fruit and vegetable, we can reduce, but for that it's important to apply some strategies to increase. And for this reason also I said that the shelf life of this kind of product is not so long, because we have to obtain a safe product, but also a nutritional product.
Okay, thank you, Miss Noelia, for the answer. So
thank you for
insightful.
your question.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Naila. Okay, I'm sorry for because the limit of time. We have to move to the next speaker, so maybe you can ask for the next speaker. Thank you, Miss Naila, for your awesome presentation. So we go to the last speaker for today. Yeah. Okay. I hope all of you,
Thank
all
you
the
for
participants,
your
your spirit.
invitation.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Naila. Okay, we move to the last one with our last speaker, with Mr. Justinus Satrio, PhD. He is from Villanova University. Okay, Mr. Justinus, yeah. Okay, as you can see in the screen, there are experience from him. Okay, yeah, Mr. Justinus, the time is yours to present your presentations.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gima, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Justinus Satrio. It's greetings from the United States of America. I know that you are tired there. What time is it now? About close to 4 o'clock. Here is 5 o'clock in the morning. So you're tired, but I'm still sleepy. All right. So first, thank you for the invitation. And then this afternoon, I will share just a general presentation about concept of sustainability and water and energy food nexus. So I know that you are all in agriculture, but then I would like you to think about, okay, in agriculture, it's not only about food, but also the other things that you need to consider about water, about energy, also about how their interaction in that. Okay, so I will share my slides. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Maybe you can click the full screen icon,
Yes.
Mr. Justinus.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So my talk is about a little bit about thinking about sustainability. So it's as I said, as you learn technical aspects from various part of agriculture, but then I would like you to think about this water, energy, food nexus through smart agriculture for supporting sustainable development. All right. So I am associate professor in chemical engineering at Villanova University. Villanova University is located in the suburb of the city of Philadelphia in the state of Pennsylvania. So it is on the east side of the United States. Philadelphia is located between New York City in the north and then Washington, D.C. in the south. So it's a very nice location. Right. So my background is in chemical engineering, and I do a lot of research on assessing technology for sustainable water, energy, food nexus. So my work is mostly on biomass utilization, on the development of conversion process technologies for sustainable utilization, production of bioenergy and materials. So most of my work has been focused on the thermochemical processes. Also, I do a lot of work on assessing techno-economics and also environmental feasibilities of biomass conversion. Okay, so for my project, I'll do research on fast pyrolysis and hydrothermal pyrolysis process for producing bio oil and biochar. Okay. Also, I'm always very interested in the research and education on sustainable agro-industry. Usually, every summer, I took students to IPB University in Bogor, working with other students taking this summer course on the sustainable agriculture. Okay. But this year, I'm not going, so I just stay put here. Okay, so this is a little bit of my research. Basically, I work on utilizing this waste biomass from agriculture, from forestry. Also, recently I work on using algae, marine algae, and then utilizing the process to produce bio-based products. All right, so start with this about sustainability. So what is sustainability? It is meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet of their needs. Okay, so this is come of the Brundtland Commission that is in 1987. Brundtland is a former Prime Minister of Norway. Okay, so if sustainability is a state, a condition, so sustainable development is the how, so the process. So sustainable development is how to meet the need of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generation to meet theirs. So the idea of this is that in meeting our needs on the food, on water, on energy, we have to be mindful about making the environment of our land, our earth, still in good condition, so our future generation can utilize the resources for their needs as well. So there are three components of the sustainability. That is, the first one is on the human capital. So the sociocentric concerns. So it is about social expectation. And then we talk about the economy. So in economy, basically focus on technology, because like the earlier talk about utilizing fruits for, so those kind of how to develop the economy, how to increase the value of in agriculture. Okay, and then focus on the ecosystem. So ecocentric, focus on natural resources and ecological capacity. So this three has to meet in the, they have to intersect with each other. So so we cannot just focus on one. For example, that okay, I just want to focus on the technology, but then the application of technology that you do, you must also consider about what is the impact to the environment and what is the impact to the society. The same thing also, for example, that when you develop a technology, developing a process or even a business, for example, for economic reason, then you need to understand about the society, about the people. You know, what do they need? What are their needs, and what do they want also? So so it is you cannot just develop economy without considering the society. Yeah. The same thing also, for example, that for ecosystem. So when you develop a process, developing a business, also need to think about what is the impact to the environment. And also, oftentimes that now we are becoming more mindful about our environment. When developing a business, then you can utilize also, you know, that is part of the protecting ecosystem as part of the marketing, for example. Not only about just the talk, but also need to show that your business or your process is good for the environment. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, so sustainability, there are three components. That is the society, economy, and environment. You can see that there's a society at the top, and then healthy society is supported by healthy economy, and then for economy to sustain, to become sustainable, it has to be supported by a healthy environment. Okay, so a strong economy will not be strong anymore if we are not protecting our environment, our ecosystem. So that's why when now we talk about climate change, a lot of issues here and there is around the world, not only about in United States, we have a lot of issue with drought, with fire, with flood in some places, and it impacts our economy. And then also impact our society in the United States, for example. So the health of the environment are very important. Okay, I'm an Indonesian, so I really constantly have a lot of care with my Indonesia, although I live in the United States. So when we talk about sustainability, about sustainable development, so make sure that it is the ethical aspects of sustainable development is that it has to be enough for everyone forever. So sustainability cannot be obtained if only certain group of people who obtain this, who enjoy the healthy economy. It has to be available for everyone. Okay, so to acquire sustainable development, it must be built on the concept of equity, fairness, and justice. Okay, so there still is, especially in agriculture, there's some disparities. Okay, between how these, for example, the farmers to enjoy the fruit of their labor in agriculture compared to people who work in downstream of the agriculture. So that is kind of the thing that has to be considered. So how this the economy can be fair for everyone. So for the healthy sustainable development effort, society cannot survive without water, without energy, without food. So for sustainable development to take place, we have to consider this water, energy, and food nexus. So the nexus is where food, water, and energy system interact. So we have this water, energy, and food. So you can see that it forms a triangle that connected to each other. So the system cannot be separated. It takes water to create food and energy. It also takes energy to move heat and treat water and to produce food. And also sometimes we can use food crops as source of energy. For example, that in the earlier speaker talked about this, how to do food processing. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of water on that. So although oftentimes we only focus on the process, but then if order for us to be sustainable, we also need to be mindful about, okay, how this water is obtained, and then how to preserve the use of water, for example, or how to reduce the use of energy. One is it is good for the environment, also by being mindful about our water usage, our energy usage. So it is also good for the bottom line, for the economy, right? Because then saving energy means that we are saving costs as well. So now with the population continue to grow. For example, in Indonesia, population is continue to grow. And then, so we have to consider also that the need of this water, and then the food security, energy security, they interacted to each other. And then, but then is how the security of this energy, the security of food, is highly dependent on the availability of water resources, for example. So water is you cannot live without water, basically. So it has a need for supplying for energy. Also is also need for growing food. Okay. The role of society is to accelerating the access, and then economy is the idea is that how to create more, but with less. As I mentioned, how can I utilize less water in developing economy? Okay, so environment. Okay, so water resources. Make sure that we have maintaining sustainable ecosystem service. So the goal of this is that to promote water, energy, food security for all. Again, we talk about justice, equity, equitable and sustainable growth, and then also resilient, productive environment. Okay. All this is affected by more urbanization, issue with climate change, as I mentioned earlier, that there are a lot of natural disasters happening right now recently, and then it causing causing a disturbance to our economy and our society, and then population growth. So these are the global trends. So for us to be able to be in agriculture, agriculture takes a big part for sustainable development. So in order for us to be sustainable in agriculture, so we cannot just simply focus on the technologies, for example, but also we have to be mindful in the technology about how is the water and energy to support the agriculture. Okay. Also make sure that it will be maintaining healthy resources for everyone forever. If you have any question, you can type your question in the chat. right? So water is a big issue because then currently is not everyone can obtain a clean potable water. Potable water means that water that can be consumed. Okay, so it is a big challenge. Still more than 10% population are lacking to clean water. About energy, okay, so energy, we right now we are still relying a lot on fossil fuel, fossil energy from coal, from petroleum, and those are, as I understand, all of us, we have understanding that this fossil fuel causing this issue with climate change, and then because of the increase of carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere. So, do we keep are we going to keep doing this, or then think about how we utilize renewable energy, solar, and then wind energy, and then biofuels. This is my area, utilizing carbon from plants to produce biofuels. In agriculture, in society also, then a big thing is that on the waste management and utilization, right? So this is I took picture this from the I think in West Papua, that people are throwing trash without thinking on the street. People live with the streets, and this is the a young student working on studying, but also he was surrounded by trash on that. So this is still a big issue, especially I see in Indonesia when this is a very big issue, because then especially on the organic waste we produce a lot of waste of the food that we consume end up in the landfill. So the question is that how we can utilize this. So it is a challenge, but also it is an opportunity. And we are all that one start with recycling, organic, non-organic, and then how you utilize the waste into something that is more useful. Okay, doing recycling, for example, and then organic waste we can make this fertilizer, for example. Okay. Then from biomass to bioproducts. Okay, so from agriculture, think about not about the waste that you produce. For example, that in the earlier talking about from fruits. So in utilizing fruits, you produce a lot of waste on that. So when you're peeling pineapples, for example, the pineapple skin, and then what can we do with that? So there's opportunities on that. So for example, that here you can from organic feedstock, from agriculture, from forests, with various processes. I will not go through this, but then you can separate the components of the biomass into sugars and lignin, and then we can produce this various process to produce this biofuels, electricity, and bio-based chemicals. Also, maybe, for example, that this pineapple skins, you can make other food products. Okay, so it is not going to landfill instead. Okay, so again, that is the summary of this is that water, energy, and food nexus, and also environment. Right, so they are interacting to each other, and we cannot just isolate one. We have to work together at three components. So in any activities that we do, that is for example, on water, energy, food nexus, we can summarize this into sustainability. It consists of these three components: social, economy, and environment. So the goal is that on prosperous world, prosperous world based on equity, fairness, and justice. So this sustainability can be achieved if we have this healthy water, energy, food nexus. And I'm repeating myself here, but I just want this kind of put this as summary. And then we have this the blueprints, how to achieve sustainability. We have this Sustainable Development Goals, the blueprints from the 17 goals. And then when in assessing the state of the sustainability, especially, for example, that as in assessing a project, for example, so we should not only focus on the economy, for example, or focusing on the technology. So we have to do assessment from the social, technology, economy, environment, and politics or policies. So it has to be a holistic assessment. Okay, oftentimes we as scientists or as an engineer, we only focus on the technology. But then as engineer, as scientists, we also need to understand about what are the impacts, perspective from the social aspects, from the economy aspects, from the environmental aspects. So in the assessing, make sure that we do it as a holistic. So we have to do the evaluation as the entire scope. So we come to how to this sustainable development can be achieved, and water, energy, and food nexus. Then to support that, we have this agriculture 4.0. What is the future of farming technology? Okay, so the challenge is that the world has to produce 70% more food by 2050, using less energy, using less fertilizer, using less pesticide. But at the same time, also we have to lower the levels of greenhouse gas and how to deal with climate change. So we have more needs, but also we have to reduce waste. Okay, so that is the challenge of in the future of agriculture 4.0. How, in agriculture, we can produce more but use less. So technologies that is coming into picture, and also in the agriculture, then oftentimes we only focus on one things. Okay, so in agriculture and agro-industry, there are a long value chains. Value chains is that there's a logistic from the agricultural companies, from the germ plasm, from the seeds, and then about the cultivation, the planting, and then harvesting, doing a transport and storage, and then finally processing. So all this, in order for us to be successful, has to go hand in hand. So the value chains, all of them has to work. So if you're in agriculture, you don't have not only about thinking about, oh, I have to work in the farming aspects, but also you can think about developing technology for harvesting, for example, how to the cultivation, how can I minimize the use of water, minimize the use of energy. Also the transportation, storage, for example, that we earlier talk about this, how to utilizing various technology to preserve the food, right? It's part of the storage. Okay. So if one step of the value chain doesn't work, the entire value of chain will not work either. Okay, so usually we move forward on the speed on the lowest, for the with the slowest person, right? So we have to make sure everybody moving at the same pace. So success in agriculture and agro-industry dependent on the weakest link in the value chains. Okay, so oftentimes we only focus on the technology, but then also we need to think about, okay, how about the logistic, how the feedstock is obtained. Right. So in the future of farming technology is we have the agricultural 4.0 is the goal is just to drive greater business efficiencies. Okay, and then look at both the demand side and the value chains or supply side of the food scarcity equation. Okay, so all this, for example, that we will grow food based on the needs. Okay, so we will not be oversupply or undersupply. Right. So technologies used to improve and address the real needs of consumer and re-engineer value chains. If we can think about this precision agriculture, okay? And then if you heard about the Internet of Things, IoT, and then the use of big data. Okay. Also, agriculture must be a green one. All right. So in the renewable production system, okay, so think about how this process from the input, energy, water, and fertilizer, and then how is the process, okay, and then how this the food product and non-food products are produced. Okay, so focus of agricultural 4.0 has to be not only about the technology, not only, but then it has to sit from the entire scope, from the input to the output. All right, so for example, that is Internet of Things, I think that is in growing plants, for example, okay, so you can use a sensor, right? So the sensor based on this, the data can measure the pH and then the amount of water, the light, and then the weather, for example. So it has to be there's the system of interrelated. We can use the internet to connect objects that to collect and transfer data over is from the weather data, from the soil conditions. So we can provide information, okay, how much water or how much fertilizer that need to be supplied on that. So with the real-time data, we can use to modify crop maintenance procedures. We will not, so we can water as needed, water the plants. So not only, so we will not waste water, for example, saving time and also saving energy and also saving money. Smart irrigation. Okay, so we can use, develop this IoT in the smart irrigation. Farming application. Okay, so we can use aerial drone and then to observe, measure the land condition. Greenhouse application, so is can use automation and monitoring system in for the application of IoT. We just skip on that. Let's see. Yeah, so in agriculture 4.0 is there is if you can see, there's the map of technologies and maturity, right? So using different techniques, using different new technologies to bring food production to consumer, is, for example, that is and then incorporate the cross industry technology and application, right? So the maturity is from today and then to time. There's a lot of opportunities. For example, that is we can use techniques for making bioplastic, for example, also, and then using algae feedstock. That is a big one. I'm working with a company in the United States working on how to grow algae and then to make that into useful products. The big one also is vertical urban farming. Okay, so that is opportunities. Is in Jakarta, for example, it's a big city, and then a lot of food has to be imported from outside. how about we develop this urban farming on this high-rise building? So that's opportunities to do that. Right. So cleaner future meat is production of meat from, instead of coming from animal, we can produce the meat from plants, for example. Okay, so there's opportunities to create meat without killing animals. It's mentioned about this indoor vertical farming. So that is becoming also a big thing in big opportunities for in agriculture. So is can we utilize growing plants with produce vegetable, for example, with limited space. Okay, so this Indonesia with has a lot of sunlight. That is a big opportunities to do vertical farming. And then some areas of the world needing water. Okay, so how we can convert the land that is not feasible for farming? Can we provide water and then to grow food in the arid regions? In Indonesia, there's some parts of the country that do not have that is not suitable for farming. Can we utilize that to make this the area becoming good for farming? Okay. All right. So the reason that I think that is as you as a new students, as a new generation, something that is very important. So this is the close of my talk. Indonesia is a sleeping giant. Okay, so Indonesia is not around in the world. Indonesia is still a lot of people do not know much about Indonesia. So, but then today Indonesia is the 16th largest economy in the world. We have 45 million members of consuming class. Okay, 53% of population is producing 74% of GDP. Okay, but then in 2030, so it's not far from now, is Indonesia is projected to be the 7th largest economy in the world. Okay, so 135 million members consuming class. Okay, and then instead of 53% in the cities, it will be 71% and producing 86% of GDP. And so we will need about 113 million skilled workers. Right now, we have only about 55. Okay, so there's a $1.5 trillion of market opportunities. So right now, only what 0.5 trillions. So the opportunity is big. So but then to do that, then we have to have this strong, educated generation like like all of you, that is how to becoming a productive members of the Indonesia to be become skilled workers and engineers, scientists, and then that it will help Indonesia to meet the demand. Right now, Indonesia doesn't have enough engineers, doesn't have enough scientists that to meet the need for the infrastructure. Education is a thing, must be done early on the how to part of the work that as students can do, how to help the younger students, younger K-12 to love STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and developing curiosity, connectivity, and creativity. Right. So I will close my talk with this about my my thinking, that is education is to teach the basis for everyone to have a shot in life. Okay, so it is not only about to create a spark in the curiosity, creativity, and the confidence. Okay, and then the basic is that you have to have the knowledge, have the skills, but also the characters. education is part of learning. So keep learning. College education, in formal education in college is not the end of learning. So living is the learning process. Learning is for living. Never stop learning. When we stop learning, then we stop growing. Okay, so, all right. That's the end of my talk. Now I talked various things, but then I hope that you will learn something from my talk today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Justinus Satrio, for your awesome presentations. There are one questions, Mr. From chat. From Gina Safiera, sir, I want to ask a questions about the water issue. There are still people who still throwing a trash in every place, especially in the water such as a river and sea. So in your state country right now, is there the water issue like this, sir? And what kind of strategy that used by the citizen to solve this problem? Okay.
We talk about this water issue.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah. Fair for the citizen, of course. Then about then first is that to be mindful of our water usage. So it's kind of not wasting water. That's one thing. Okay. And then in agriculture, for example, that as I mentioned, that how to utilize for watering plants, but then also in an efficient way. So it is not not overwatering. Okay. And then that is related to the waste management. Okay. So in a lot of waste is causing issue in the water, causing issue in the river, in the sea. So United States, are you talking about this in my country, not my country. I live I'm still in Indonesia, but I also live in the United States. In United States, water also is still a big issue. America is supposed to be the wealthiest country in the world, but then there are parts of the United States that still have some water issue, and some of the water are polluted, has contained some heavy metals, for example. And then, yeah, as a citizen, they be mindful about the use of water, and also they need to be more proactive on how, if there's water issue, and then how they kind of support the government or push the government to be how to provide water for them on that. So has to be, you have to take the initiative to do that, but also. One thing is that not only relying on the government, but then also as a society, as a group, you can also provide, as a work together as in a non-profit organization, for example, to push about for providing water for the community. Does it answer your question?
Regina, how is it? Does that answer your questions? Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer.
All right.
Okay.
So
this is the last. Yeah,
yeah.
One questions. The last questions. Yeah. There's one questions. Yeah. There are no questions.
In the chat.
Okay.
There is about politics is not supporting sustainability chain. What can we do for facing this condition? Well, that is always an issue. Politics is always sometimes politics are done by people. There's often time that the people who are in the government or in as politicians, they do not know the entire do not really understand the entire needs sometimes. So about sustainability, oftentimes that also as politics are affected by, is controlled by certain group of people, for the push, for example, from a business people or certain things, that is to, that is not supporting sustainability. So what can we do as a citizen? So, well, we have to be able to voice our opinion. That is, maybe one of the biggest things, but create this group. If if your representative doesn't support you, doesn't for environment, then you need to be in contact with your representative, and then just to push that. And but then first is that what's important is that we as a member of society need to understand about sustainability. So if the society, if all of us understand about the sustainability, and then we can work together and then push that to the government. This is what we want. Okay, so there's issues, and so we have to voice our, if there are issues, and then make sure that we voice that. And then oftentimes that if we just one person is not heard, then how about if 1,000 people push that? So as a university, for example, as students from university, you can voice an opinion, voice a solution, all right, and then push that to the to your representative. So I think that is one way to do it. So we as citizens oftentimes just simply quiet, not doing anything, just complaining maybe, and they're kind of not happy. But then, as we have to do something about it, and then kind of write that in newspaper, for example. So make sure your voice is heard by your representative.
Your voice is heard. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. Justinus, for your presentations, for your awesome presentations. Maybe that's it enough, yeah, Miss Ira. Okay. I'm sorry for Deviana. Maybe I apologize. Okay, for having not enough time to answer all the questions in today's session. So please, for those who still have questions, you can send them to email so we can answer by email. Okay. All you can do is give a big applause to our awesome speaker for today. There are 4 speakers. There are so many inspirations, thoughtful, and that's so many things that we can learn about it. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, due our limited times, I'm so sorry because not all the questions we can read today. I would like to say thank you to all, to our wonderful and inspiring presenter, and also to the all active participants for their insight and participation. Before we close our speaker sessions, here we are the conclusions. From Dr. Luz Wittevan, ICT Design and Development for Rural Learning, Communication and Advisory service utilize various approaches. It emphasizes the dynamic natures of learning, the value of group collaborations, and the importance of the experiential learning and reflections. The systematic process of the ICT design and development ensures the creation of effective and user-friendly education materials. And from Mr. Matthews Henrik Smith-Pinardi, he said that it is interesting for me to highlight what Mr. Spinardi said earlier about his family business. We may start our business from a low level, but if we always believe in our business potential, we can make it to the top. As long as it is accompanied by science-free integrity and hard work. Indeed, hard work always pays off. And from Dr. Noelia Castillejo Montoya, many fruit and vegetables in the form of smoothies are now made into practical, ready-to-eat package, adapting to today's lifestyle and eating habits. To maintain the quality of its nutritional contents, there are several factors that produce must pay close attention to the quality of raw materials, the pre-processing operation, the treatment during processing, the packaging, and the storage. Fortunately, all of these factors can be controlled with the help of the technology. And the last one from Mr. Justinus Asatrio. The key tenets of sustainability are eco-centric concern, natural resources, technocentric concern is technology, and socio-centric concern, social expectation. They are key tenets need to achieve balance to gain sustainability. Sustainability can be said to be a nexus, food, water, and energy system. To have the finance, governance, and innovation could help the achievement of the nexus. Okay, this is it. Maybe this is the end of the road, yeah. but please, for the last things, please give a big applause once again to our speaker. Okay, you can give a big applause to our speaker for today. Thank you for your coming, Mr. Justinus, Miss Luz, Miss Noelia, and Mr. Matthews. And so, please do not leave in these Zoom sessions, ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants, because we still have another session right after this with Mr. Heryudianto. Mr. Heryudianto, please.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Gema, for assisting us in the speaker session. It was a great session. Yeah, it's a great one. Okay. Next, we have certificate that I would like to give to all of the speakers. So, to the committee, can you please help me? From the first certificate will be given to our first speaker, Professor Luz with the fee. Here's the certificate. Okay, thank you. And then the second one is for the our second speaker, Mr. Matthew Spinardi. Okay, great. The next is the third certificate for the third speaker, Dr. Noelia Castillo Montoya. Okay, good. The fourth certificate will be given to Mr. Justinus A. Satrio, PhD. Thank you so much for Mr. Justinus for the great presentation. And the last one, we have certificate for our lovely moderator, Mrs. Gema. Thank you so much. So yeah, okay. I believe the committee has already shared the attendance link. So for all the participants, if you want to fill the attendance, you can click the link, and then it will automatically send you the certificate. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all we've got for you today. We hope this is beneficial for everyone. Thank you for your active participation. And on behalf of College of Vocational Studies of IPB University, thank you all for joining us. Stay healthy and have a great day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.